All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to Lightning Lessons. Tonight we have a really exciting presentation from Project Bucephalus, who is this year's World Championship Impact Award winner. Super exciting, and they're going to be talking to us about these storytelling in the impact submissions. And I'll hand it over now.
So, hi everyone. So
Yep.
just getting ourselves lined up. There we go. So, it turns out a lot of what we've been doing with the Impact Award recently, um, the Impact Award itself is not the most important thing that we end up talking about. We talk a lot about stories, the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we tell each other, and stories we tell the rest of the world. And that's because stories are powerful. Communities are defined by their collection of stories, a shared identity that unites people and makes sense of the world. The best stories create hope, inspire perseverance, and provide comfort. For better or for worse, stories can change the world. So today, we're going to talk about the importance of your stories, those that define your team, connect you to your community, and even convey your impact to the judges. So before we go any further, what I want you to do is think about those stories. What was the last story about your team that you told? Are the most powerful ones about your robots, or are they about the people? So for now, if you've got a story you want to type in the chat, something that you'd like to share, please do so. We won't wait for it, but put up a story about your team, something that sticks with you. Okay. Zanita.
We are 5985 Project Bucephalus. For those who haven't met us before, we come from the city of Wollongong to our south of Sydney. So we're hoping to share some perspectives that spark ideas in your team.
We won the Impact Award at the 2025 Championship. Only the fourth time in 32 years the award has gone outside of the USA. This is Faith, our former Impact presenter, and now our awards media mentor. She's the primary mover in our Impact videos. You can blame her if someone you know cried while watching them.
So that's Andrew, our lead mentor who created our awards culture and worked with it since the beginning.
And this is Anita, our Impact lead and 3-year veteran of our Impact presenter team, having a front seat on the terrifying ride of being an Impact finalist 3 years running before entering the first Hall of Fame in April.
Yep.
Now, stories don't have to be epics. Did you notice that we slipped 4 very short ones in there? Look at the yellow text up on your screen right now.
To us, the stories a team tell can 1. Strengthen your entire team, from culture to membership. 2. Create profound links with your community. These benefit all aspects of your team, but they can also build a powerful impact submission. We're going to walk you through this process.
So let's start with your team stories. They can be simple statements or complex ideas. Like I said, I'd like some of you to put stuff out in the chat, a story you know about your team or a story you tell about your team. Mel, I'm sure you got some old ones. I know there's a cow to be referenced there somewhere. So these are some of our stories, and you hear many of these told at our intake sessions because they set the scene. So when we talk about membership, we say in 5985, we attract the weird ones, and that's the way we like it. We say we need the writers, photographers, filmmakers, artists, designers, and performers just as much as we need the engineers and the programmers. And safety. We wouldn't expect you to walk into the workshop on a broken leg. In the same way, we wouldn't expect you to walk in the workshop while overloaded or during a panic attack. So those are simple stories, and they set the tone for when new people come in. And then we get to the longer ones that we tell others before, during, and after the season. So the family thing. I know a lot of teams do the we're a family and it works for them. It's never been realistic for us. So we say we're not a family. The first rule, students of 5985 here, is you don't have to like each other. You do have to respect each other. When in doubt, be kind. The second rule, following rule 1 is more important than any other robot win or awards result. We would rather tank the entire season than lose that attitude. The freedom to laugh. A student on our team has an uncontrollable laugh a family has dubbed the dying seagull. It's loud, unusual, and truly out of control when she is happy and finds something truly funny. She learned pretty quickly not to laugh at school. That's changed. In the workshop, that laugh now rings out regularly, with team members joining in and asking who broke her this time, and objectively measuring the humour of the situation by how long it takes her to stop. There are at least five other students who are set off in the same way, the same type of laugh, and now the freedom to be joyful without fear.
In our in our program targeting special education students, we were told over and over that if our school gets a grant, it's not going to these kids. So we made it happen every single week.
78% of 5985 team members have come through our LEGO robotics teaching program. Some have spent 9 years with 5985 members as their teachers. Then they join FRC and their teachers become their teammates.
The 5985 workshop is an abandoned function centre, still with a dance floor and a non-functional industrial kitchen. We also think we're the only team in the world where the programmers work out of a bar.
These stories are built into our team. We tell them to each other. They are the foundation on which we build our culture, understanding, and expectations for behaviour.
We have big and little stories about safety, respect, case studies, and cautionary tales. They each are part of the big story of our team.
The freedom to tell these stories within the team enables us to reach out and build bigger ones, and then tell them to others.
Which leads us to the Impact Award. We can't overstate how important stories are to your submission. Statistics give the facts, but stories make your work human and convey its power. Judges remember the stories.
So, when it comes to building stories into a submission, we recommend the following approach. First off, in the executive summary, you want facts and figures that provide context. Short, snappy, and point-based. Only one of these should have a story in it, and we'll get to that in a bit. Now, one of the things we've noticed with a lot of reviews we've been doing of teams recently is teams try to tell stories in 500 characters, and that is very rarely a good idea.
It's also very difficult to do.
Very difficult to do. You make life very hard for yourself. Please don't. Next comes the essay. Here is where you start framing the story. Provide the foundation, particularly in the introduction and closing. Right? We write our intro and closing before we write the body of the essay each year. We also choose to include one personal story about a student each year.
Next is the presentation. Tell the deeper stories and the harder stories. Make the impact real with your words and emotions. When you leave the room, the judges should be certain of the impact you've left on the people you've worked with.
Yep, then there's the video. In our opinion, this is not just for the judges, and the statistics don't matter. This is how you show the world your team's story.
Right. So there are some very powerful stories that appear in our submissions. So we're about to share some of them. And in most cases, we're going to be putting the entire text we used up on the screen as well. Now, this is about understanding what you pick to say, how you say it, and what makes it worthwhile. Because we've seen, again, in a lot of the reviews, a lot of stories being told that actually do absolutely nothing to advance your impact award. Right. So our opening statement from this year's presentation.
From Wollongong, Project Bucephalus builds STEM into the heart of a steel city and reaches across the world. We fill classrooms with those that normally miss out. Why? Because that's who we are. We are the underrepresented and remote, the refugees, immigrants, and Aboriginal, the disabled and the dismissed. We are the misfits, the isolated, and the bullied. This opportunity changed our lives.
So we'll go through in a bit why we chose these, but we're just going to hit you with a bunch of them for the moment. So each season, as I mentioned, we choose to include a personal story about a team member in the essay. In 2025, we answered the question, how does a student with autism and legal blindness access robotics?
Hamza and PB answered together. He started with our teaching program, his only accessible option. After 4 years, it was time for FRC. We overhauled our workshop so he could safely take part. With the team's support, Hamza found meaningful roles in assembly and software. He now assesses students with vision loss in international robotics teams.
All right. We have a policy of building executive summary answers around the bullet point stats. The exception is question 12. Highlight one area in which your team needs to improve and describe the steps actually being taken to make those improvements. In other words, tell us your biggest weakness.
When over 70% of your team has a disability, you're eventually going to have issues when it comes to leadership and veterans. Sometimes barriers can be overcome, but also there are conditions that mean it's not possible for a team member to fill a traditional leadership role. PTSD, anxiety, and autism spectrum disorders are just some of the conditions that could apply here. So we just upended what leadership meant and changed the roles. Now 88% of our leadership positions are occupied by members with a disability.
So the text you got up on the screen is their actual short answer from this year. What Zanita was saying is a present conference we gave at Champs, but it's the same meaning, two different ways of telling the same story. Now that is the, pardon me, the only short answer where we don't go straight bullet point. Now, in our impact presentation, we do have permission to include several student stories that clearly state our impact. This was from 2023.
Our impact is real. It's a gateway to FIRST and it builds life skills. It also saves lives, like my sister's. She has autism and was totally isolated, without hope. In these classes, it was like a switch had been flicked. She found joy and her reason to live. I saw this impact and that's why I'm here.
So when it comes to talking about STEM education, it is important to make the judges understand the power of what is actually happening, particularly if you're talking outside traditional audiences, like our program to run robotics as vocational training for adults with disabilities. This is one of those.
Meet Jen. She started her first class with I'm 61, I have a disability, and I'm not good with computers. She showed off her robots delighting in cool grandma status. There's no university or STEM career for these students, but there's no culture change if they're left behind.
Now, hopefully at this point, you're starting to see the value of a good story in what you're saying. So I'm just checking. Yeah, there's all comments coming up. That's good.
Yeah.
And the stories have to tell a purpose. Oops, hit the wrong button. There we go. So each team comes from a unique community and circumstance, and stories paint the picture of where you come from. So this is from the presentation, isn't it? Yeah, this is our mission accomplished statement.
But none can deny our power in Wollongong, where we change culture by making STEM accessible to everyone, regardless of disability, age, or income.
With us, disability is not a barrier. In Australia, only 4.8% of STEM students have a disability. In our mainstream teaching program, it's 51%. Disability becomes visible. Our teachers use noise-cancelling headphones and support devices.
Aged care residents contribute. They talk strategy and drive FRC bots. Education is an escape for at-risk youth. Wollongong has 6 of the highest poverty areas in our state. We bring free robotics opportunities to 5 of them.
All levels of government meet us in our workshop. And we've spoken at Parliament House with Ministers for Correction and Youth Justice to prove STEM can act as early intervention.
So stories like this can make an impact very clear, and possibly especially when it's difficult to tell them. And this is the next one of those.
So many kids have opportunities taken from them. We created Unstoppable to give them back, using FIRST to divert youth from criminal behaviour. Unstoppable was piloted at a last chance school. Students come from backgrounds of trauma, abuse, and neglect. Over half are involved in the justice system. To these kids, adults are the enemies, and peers cannot be trusted. They are labelled criminals and dangerous. We convinced the Department of Justice to grant $500,000 to change this. We've worked here for 3 years. We've seen the change up close. First is part of the curriculum. Skills we taught lead to ambition for trades and study. Not one FRC student reoffended. These tough, cynical students nagged us to run FLL Challenge for them. Just to be clear, they aren't all success stories. The reality is ugly, but they trust us.
So this is one of the more difficult stories that we have to tell during the course of our impact. And we keep finding ways to do it better or wince at how we tell it. We're trying to make it understood. And that's an exercise that just keeps happening. But it's not a story about it's all sunshine and rainbows, which makes it talking about failures, talking about things that don't always just work, that makes for a better understanding and makes you more human.
Yeah.
Right. So our impact submission tells the story of 5985 and the powerful effect it has on the community. And this is our closing essay paragraph for this year.
Opportunities are created. They don't knock on your door. For a decade, PB has reinvented the STEM classroom and shattered expectations of who fills it. Exclusion has become accessibility. The overlooked have become visible. The stolen potential has been restored. This work shapes the soul of PB. The misfits, the isolated, and the bullied stand at the heart of FIRST in Australia, driving empowerment and creating lasting change that resonates worldwide. PB starts with an open door, and we will never let it close.
So that is how we approach storytelling in the presentation, essay, and the executive summary. So we're about to tap onto the video, but if there was something, is there anything in there, Mel, that we should jump in on?
Oh, well, I had a question. I was just curious as to what the color coding meant on all of the text on screen.
When we're writing our essay, so we color code it via theming our mottos and our
So
vision.
The
So the blue is our vision, green is the theme, red is
who we are.
yellow is the goals.
Yeah.
Yellow is goal.
It also makes it easier to read if it's not all white text.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason why you do the color coding? Is it helping you see like the distribution of certain types of content, or how do you use it?
It helps with the distribution, and then it also kind of just helps our impact team so that we sort of can easily look through the essay and look at different parts of it to see how we've already used.
Yeah.
So how we've already talked about the mission in our essay.
Yeah.
Stops repetition.
Yeah.
And it keeps the essay balanced.
Yes.
Yeah. And it makes a nice break from going through and arguing about the use of Oxford commas or
Yes. Yeah.
Or M dashes.
Or M dashes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Does
All
anyone
right, thanks for that.
any questions out from the
No questions, just a couple of
We've got the
different stories.
We've got the stories
have been
rolling
put
in.
Yeah.
3 melted bots.
Oh my god, that's what 3MB stands for. Oh, guys.
I think that's a joke. I think that's a joke.
I wanted to know what that stands for forever.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask next time I see him.
All right. So that brings us to the next part. So I guess before we get onto the video, with the video being optional, I would like to point out that to us, the video was never optional. It's a big part of who we are. But the stories you tell in the essay, and particularly in the presentation, matter a lot. So don't be one of those teams that just puts in a 6-line quote about how little Freddie had a good time. Find something meaningful, like with Jen's story. That is highly unusual.
Yeah. If little Freddie had a good time, was he the only one? Or what are the other people that had a good time?
Yeah. So you don't want stories that just say, oh, we had 45 people at our event. You want the stories to tell the impact. And that's the biggest flaw we find in most of the essays we review. Teams are very, very good about saying what they do, not so much about why it matters. Okay. And I'm getting more and more questions piling up.
Yeah, no, I think that's the teachers.
Oh, yes, the Zoom overlay. So whenever I look at the chat, the box comes up. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now we're looking at the video. So this brings us to the stories we tell the community. Now, our favorite medium for this is the impact video. It is optional, but it is incredibly powerful, and we highly, highly recommend teams give it a go. So we are going to go through like the top level overview about how we do this. If you want to get down to the nitty gritty, we can do that at the end. So the videos we do are built around 3 guidelines. First, we want to be storytellers. People remember the stories. We want to engage people in what we're saying.
Yeah.
2, we want to show, don't tell. There are a huge pile of videos out there that are just a list of, we did this.
Which is good for conveying what your team does, not so good for telling your story.
Then we're built around feel the impact, right? The video is an expression of who we are, what we do, and why it matters. Take over, Fletcher.
So to 5985, the impact. Sorry, oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Sorry. Our videos have made our team memorable.
No, you're in the wrong spot again. Sorry, you got to tap on recovery.
I was all over the place.
Inspired by love.
Yeah.
Each video is a different mix of those qualities we've just got up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an expression of who we are, what we do, why it matters. It's not a list of accomplishments. The story we tell in the video often goes on to be the theme of that year's impact submission. Different ways of telling the same story make it more powerful.
Yeah. So our videos have made our team memorable, inspired sponsors, and brought in a whole new type of creativity to the team. Each year, we tell a different story. So our 2023 video, Laughter in the Walls, was inspired by a poem by Bob Benson called Laughter in the Walls. Sorry, Echoes in the Halls. Get that right.
No, the video's Echo in the Halls.
Yeah.
Poems Laughter in the Walls.
Too similar. We'll get there eventually. So the story was told from the perspective of a senior student becoming a mentor. The focus was on our workshop, which was a TAFE student union building that was a function center, and then was left pretty much abandoned before we moved in. So we got footage from the TAFE union and things like that. Another note, this one was also inspired by a assignment one of the team members submitted about the place they felt safe, and they wrote about the workshop, and that was what kind of guided us to do it about the building.
So this video was the first one that was played at Champs as an impact finalist. And it's sort of when we became aware that people were actually paying attention to what we were saying. The reaction was pretty fantastic. The video connected very strongly with older students and mentors, and we were stopped by teams outside the championships. People were pulling aside mentors and students saying how much they enjoyed watching it. Right. Now, this one is called Ready Now.
So this was based off a song by an artist called Dodie, and the I'm Ready Now statement was a recurring theme telling 6 different stories of our diverse team members through 6 different perspectives.
So we're just going to play the first one now.
You saw through me all this time. I'd forgotten people were kind. I was hurting and you knew, yet you made me believe I could break through. I found my talent, you let it shine. Suddenly my future was redefined. Before I knew it, my fears were erased. To my surprise, I found my place. Firm ground beneath the people that care. To the world around me, I now declare, I'm ready now.
So that first scene was based off the story of isolated team members being welcome, and has had more impact than any other scene we've shot. Not just on FRC teams, but at displays we've had random adults, especially parents, completely break down just because of that scene. It resonated incredibly strongly with our local neurodivergent community.
So yeah, I'm not kidding on that one. I had a parent literally sobbing on my shoulder at the Sussex Inlet Viking Festival, full Viking dress, and she was sobbing on my shoulder. She was the parent of neurodivergent kids, and she lost it completely just seeing that. That has been huge, just that one.
And it also got a massive reaction at Champs, which we were very, very excited by. Our media team was very happy with that. Most memorably, in the video, our robot falls off the monkey bars from Rapid React. That got some audible gasps.
Yep. Okay, and then there's this year's. So I'll play it and then we'll explain what's going on. It is short. I'm assuming most of you have seen it, but hey.
There's a place of brick and tin. It's simple and quite old. Yet the walls echo with profound purpose. To it, a trail worn by thousands of souls. To the door that's always open. Beyond it is a refuge for any traveller, offering shelter and a home. Some stay for a season, others forever, but none forget how much they've grown. A single open door can inspire another, carving out space to discover excitement. Countless faces lit by new fire. The sound of lives changing could never be silent. For opportunities are created, they don't knock at your door. Instead, they're the keys to see communities transformed. Classrooms, universities, nursing homes and scout halls, council chambers, conventions and theatre help forge the torrent of changed minds, formed a drop at a time, eyes open to futures they can choose. STEM and community thoroughly entwined, and accessibility now a fundamental truth. And these doors lead to places far from this shore, reaching across mountains of water and stone. Restoration and friendship a powerful draw. Imagination the map to explore the unknown. Forming alliances of passion, power and cause. To mentor and rescue, empower and home. But what do you do when a lock has an O-key? Door sealed or barred or blocked by debris. You take a hammer and beat it down, revealing lost hope on the other side. Lives rewritten with potential now in view. Acceptance of all as possibilities arise. Equal education, a promise now fulfilled. And most of all, a chance to restore, healing the minds that were once ignored. That's what this house of brick and tin stands for. For true kindness, for lasting change, for sincere belonging, for saving lives. The door is always open.
Okay.
So this video was based off something that a lot of you might not know, but is very near and dear to our awards team, which is the 80th anniversary of the Moomins. So this video was very, very personal to us, and it talks about the impact on first of those that need it the most, and was very much built on the experience and feelings and stories of our team members. This was the third year at Champs our video was shown, and it gathered the strongest and loudest reaction of any video. And afterwards, a lot of people were coming up and telling us that we made them and their mentors cry, which our media team wears as a badge of honor.
And there is a few seconds of Blair faltering slightly at the end of it. That means more to our kids than any award they ever got. Yeah, so the effect of this video alone pretty much justifies our approach to the power of storytelling, not just for the Impact Award. It's made a huge impact on sponsors, teachers, students, parents. We don't mention a single specific accomplishment anywhere in that video. but the impact is clear and it is making an impact now out on our community. We go and introduce ourselves, and a lot of the time that video tells everything a team, anyone, a sponsor, needs to know. If a media person wants to talk to us, they'll watch that and they get the idea of what we're trying to do. So it has value well outside the Impact Award.
Yeah. So the stories we tell ourselves also impact our students. We can talk about who we are, our struggles, our victories, our losses. Every team member is part of making these videos. And we did it with 2 old Canon cameras, a media team of 5 students, and a free copy of DaVinci Resolve. You can do it too.
And just to be clear, there was no green screen, there was no CGI, there was just, let's just say, obsessive compulsive attention to detail and a lot of reshooting.
And a lot of tape.
A lot of tape. Also in that video, every one of our team members appeared at least once.
Yep, the ones that were in the country for build season.
Yeah. And that's part of it. The video gets the video gets as much attention as the robot does, as awards does. It's part of something that everybody does.
Yeah, and just to be clear, making it personal isn't the only approach. It's just our approach. We've seen some teams go for humor, others do grand scope, profound meaning, right? Pick your style and refine it. Have fun with it.
So we're just about at the end of our time, and we'll take some more questions shortly. But there are, highly recommend that you start collecting your own stories. If you don't know where to begin, gather some responses to these questions. Who are you and what do you want? Now, again, we've done a lot of work with teams in the last few months, getting reviews. And a lot of teams have a lot of trouble answering these. What do you want? The most common response I get is, we want to spread STEM. We want to spread first. And then I have to say why.
Yeah.
And then why again and drill down into, why are you doing this? What do you want from it? The who are you question, that's insanely difficult for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Ours was the misfits, the isolated, and the bullied.
And it took us
Years.
10 years to get there.
A lot of teams will say, we are these people from this school. And I say, nope, that's just where you meet.
Yeah.
Who are you as a team? Run some surveys. What have you got in common? Like you saw our list, the refugees, the Aboriginal, the overlooked. Who are you? So we've mentioned the importance of 3 types of stories, and it all comes back into this. The stories about those of you inside the team, those you tell the judges, and those you tell the world. Now, the important part here is these aren't 3 different types of stories. They're one story. The story of who you are, what you value, and the impact you're making through FIRST. And that's what makes a powerful impact team. Anyone can read out statistics. A lot fewer are able to actually talk about why it matters. So basically, at the end of this, there's one thing you really need to remember. Your robot may win matches, but it's your stories that change lives. Make sure you tell them well, tell them often, and then let them carry your impact further than you could have ever imagined. So if you have questions, we will take them now. Yeah, and we will
Do you want to stop sharing
the screen
chat up?
so we can bring
Thanks,
the chat.
folks. We have a question in the chat for you, which was, what does your media team and the rest of your team do to plan and make sure that you have footage, ideas, and so forth from throughout the year? Do you start planning at the start of the year?
Okay, so
Start with the video collection.
So general video collection is each event we will have a shot list where we look for generic stuff, like for example at a demonstration, kids looking engaged, team members interacting with people, close-up shots of team members explaining the robot, panning shots of events, like things like that we'll just generally get. In terms of impact video specific stuff. Our planning starts
On the way home from Champs.
yes. Multiple years in the car after Champs. I'm scrolling through playlists and stuff, or there's people looking at videos saying, what about this? What about this? What about this?
Yeah.
So I will point out the provisionary warning. Don't do this. We're nuts. But if it works for you, you can try it out. So basically, the first thing our team will do is write the script for the video.
Now, when it comes to planning footage, we try to use as much footage from our archives as we can. So we, like, for example, we know what we generally have of events. We know there's some specific shots we've asked if we plan for them. But for everything else, we make sure we have a shot list done before January starts, so the media team can spend build season getting the specific shots they need, and then still have time to edit the video.
We threaten our media team with working on kickoff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, for
If they haven't got the
example,
storyboard stuff.
during build season, we'll call her, hey, we're doing a filming session for a couple of hours on this morning. And we'll say, you people come in, everybody else don't come in till later.
Yeah.
So our normal order of things is pick the theme for the video, write the script. That will take us several months.
Yeah.
Once that's done, that's the theme we'll use for the essay.
In specifically with the media side of stuff,
Yeah.
which is what they're asking about, is once we've gotten the script written, we will do a storyboard on a whiteboard, and that will go into a shot list, and then media team works with mentors to plan out when what's going to happen.
Yep.
All right, we've got some more questions. So the next one is, how do you pick your theme for the year?
So I oversee this a lot. 3132 tried to convince us we should be looking at sports ads, TV, like for shoes and running and Nike and all that stuff. We tried that. It didn't work. So we ended up going into poetry and songs and stories and speeches, oratory.
The songs came in with First in Show. They announced First in Show. Faith turned to me and the impact video is a musical. And I went, really?
They unfortunately said no to that. My original idea was using When I Grow Up from Matilda the musical.
Yeah. So we've used Dr. Seuss, The Places You'll Go. My favorite one is the first one we did. I'm a fan of Rudyard Kipling's If. So if you have a look at our 2018 video, it's up on the YouTube channel. We modified the If poem to serve that. And we still get people saying that's pretty powerful. So you look for inspiration that suits you. Like, I know from what I've read about 4788, I reckon you guys would do really, really well with the isolated city, the bush, and the Australian stuff.
Yeah. Find something that you connect with, right? That's the biggest thing, because lots of team members connect with different things, but when you find something you connect with, then our general thing is we share it with the team, and then the team members go, yes, that speaks to me too. And the more people we have going, that speaks to me, the more confident we are with using it.
Yeah. I think, like, on the logistics side, we have a giant spreadsheet. And if you find inspiration, you put it in the spreadsheet, you put a link and you say, this is exactly how I think we can use it. And then at our next meeting, we sit down for maybe 3 hours arguing whether we should use it and why it's not good and why it's great and blah, 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 blah.
So that there is one that stands out as an example from this year. It was a song called Why Can't I Fly?
No, it was a song called Flying.
Flying. Okay. It was about, the idea was, I can see everyone else fly. Why can't I? I crash, I burn, and then I finally get to fly. Problem with that fit our meaning really, really well. But the problem was it never really left that one aspect.
Yeah.
It wasn't broad enough to do what we wanted to do with it. So we had to discard it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
We've got a question not about the impact video, but just about one of the stories that you mentioned, which was what specific measures do you take to allow your legally blind students to safely work on the robot side?
I'll go first if you want. You want to?
No,
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
answer this one.
She's safety team, Andrew.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So he does a lot of work with software now. He is primarily in programming, but when he first joined the team, he was like our best marker and measurer because he had to get so very close to the object that he could get it to like the to the you know to the
Assembly.
Millimeter.
yeah to the mill.
So
Perfect.
Hamza was very, very good at measuring and drilling. The
Mm.
problem was to drill, he had to have his face like a centimeter away from the drill bit, which no,
Yeah.
no. So assembly, he's good at. Programming, he's got code, he had code on the robot. What we had to do though, we had to get Guide Dogs Australia to come through, and they did an audit of our workshop. So we were very good at physical accessibility, vision accessibility, not so much. So they came through and told us what we needed to do.
So we did things like marking clear walkways out in yellow tape, making sure none of our storage shelves had anything overhanging. Things that were small and sticking out now have bright yellow on the end. We changed our labels to have high contrast, which is now yellow and black, and a certain font size.
Yeah. Also, we insist that he brings his cane to competitions because one of the biggest issues we have is people not realizing he can't see.
Mm.
So the cane is a marker. He doesn't feel he needs it all the time, but it makes it so much easier for other people to give him space.
Yeah.
All right, there's some more questions in the chat, but I might jump in with a couple of my own. I think in your videos you often communicate a very strong sense of place, and the workshop often forms sort of like a core part of it. Is that intentional, and if so, why?
I wouldn't say it's always at the forefront of it, but definitely having a workshop as like a big part of it because it is just a place where everybody in our team sort of feels safe and that they can be heard, where in other places they cannot. 2023 was the year where the workshop was the theme.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
And like I said, that was inspired by someone's school assignment where they had to write about a place they felt safe at or home at. And that really impacted us. And I think as we've gone along over the years, it became less about what we do and more about this is where I can feel safe. And then we are taking that sense of safety and belonging to the community.
Also, from a practical sense, it's the one area we've got full control over how we use the space. So it's convenient.
And we also have no time limits on how long we can spend shooting footage.
yeah, we were shooting stuff at 2 a.m. at the workshop. Outside.
Of course,
the fire
that's the
alarm
dog
went.
season move. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
great.
We set the fire alarm off, so they brought the camera out and filmed.
No,
I'll
it
do
was
another
because we
one.
set off the fire alarm by accident. Don't do that.
I'll do another question from the chat. How do you choose which stories are the best ones to tell?
We choose. Okay. Basically, generally, a lot of arguing, but we look at sort of our main theme for the season as such and what ties in, and we also just look at a story that shows growth in students. And so in the presentation, we tell the story of my sister, and we tell that because I'm in the judging room and I have
Permission?
Yeah, I have more permission to like sort of tell my story rather than the team seeming like they're exploiting the story by using it.
Yeah. Now, to keep in mind, her sister will tell her story to anyone. I believe in one memorable moment she told it to her hairdresser. Yeah, but we look at the presentation specifically, we look at who's in the judging room, what they've been involved with, what's meaningful to them, and what shows a lot of growth. In the essay, we look at again what fits our theme and what shows our growth.
The main underlying thing, though, every time we tell a story, that story has to have a point that we want to make with it. So it's no good saying little Freddie had a good time because that doesn't make a point. If little Freddie never knew they could do robotics, or they'd never had the opportunity before, and they came out of it saying, I want to do more, and now they're doing more. That's a story that matters.
Mm.
A quote about another team praising you, not so much. A quote about how you now work with other teams on common missions that matter to all of you, that would. So you decide what type of point you want to make, and you want to make it short, sharp, and impactful. You don't want to go for the 6-line quote on everything.
Yeah.
Does that answer Ethan's question? Was that Ethan that asked that?
Yes, there is a follow-up question to that one as well, which is how many stories on average are you deciding between? And I guess to expand on that a little bit, do you look for stories that not fit, but do you look for stories to fit the direction of the essay presentation video, or do you have a lot of stories that you have available and it's a process of narrowing down?
Yeah, okay. Basically, yeah, we do have a large variety of stories, and it's not so much narrowing down to which one fits best. It's that, and also which students are happy to have their story told. Because there were a few students that this year we went and we asked, hey, can we tell your story? We won't be connected to you specifically. We just want to mention this. And some of them were not so comfortable with having that told. So,
Yeah, there's also, particularly with our Unstoppable program, there's some really impactful stuff with that, but due to privacy of students or amount of explanation needed, they can't fit in. We have to save it for questions. And there's a lot of stories like that that we really wanted to tell and we want to be able to tell, but the explanation for them takes longer than the actual story does.
yeah.
Speaking from like my overseer position, probably the most important thing of choosing what stories to tell in the presentation, it's about the stories that mean something to the people telling them. Otherwise, it just comes across as wooden and fake. So that story about Jen, that was from one of our team members named April told that story. And she just had so much glee in her voice talking about cool grandma status. So it was like she just told that story so well, it mattered to her. Whereas somebody else telling it could just come across as reciting a wooden story.
Yeah.
So we've got a big backlog, but we have to sort out what is appropriate, what is meaningful, and what actually carries the point we're trying to make. And as someone mentioned, in questions is a really good spot to add the details that you can't fit in other places.
Now, quick note on that one. Please make sure if you are telling stories in your question answers, do not make the same mistake we had for several years. Keep your answers, what is it, under 10 seconds?
Luann's rule is 30.
Oh yeah, under 30 seconds. We used to be very long-winded in questioning, and that was a problem. Don't do that.
All right, I'll go back now to more on the video and media side. We had a question about how has your approach changed over the years on like how you make the video. So the script, then storyboard, then recording. Is that something that's come about recently? Is this what you've always done?
So originally, you want to go?
So, right. When I first joined the team in 2023, we had a media team of one person.
Excuse me, it was 2. I was on it as well.
Before that, there was 1. We started off with we had one person that was media was their thing. They were the kid that was taking all the photos, all the videos, and was in nothing of them by choice. That worked okay, and then they left, and no, it wasn't. So then we moved on to Take Your Story Now. There was 2.
Yeah. Keep going.
Keep going.
Huh?
When Zanita joined, we had 2 people doing it.
Me and one filmmaker and one video person.
We had, and so basically our entire video was reviewed by just our awards team, and the awards team decided whether it could go to the rest of the team. And then it usually go awards team, our executive committee, and then the whole team. And then it would, in between each of those stages, it would go back to said filmmaker who would make all the changes that we asked him to make. And he'd get quite annoyed with us sometimes because group number 2 would ask him to reverse what group number 1 said. So
yeah. Then that process, like Andrew said, it works well until you have the skilled people leave. Which meant the following year, we had a bunch of brand new people who didn't know what they were doing, myself kind of included in that. Um, and Rainy now was actually our first time working with a team of more than two people on the video. And that meant we changed how our process worked a lot. We did a lot more of group reviewing. We did a lot more of getting input from team and executive committee. We did do that previously, but it was mainly just between the awards team and the media team. And by getting executive committee in reviewing, they picked up some problems we didn't pick up. And then by showing it then to the whole, sorry, then showing it to the whole team, we normally held off doing that until after our robot unveiling. But by showing it to the whole team, they could see what they had been part of, and they could also say they liked stuff, they didn't like stuff, things like that.
So the video basically migrated from a passion project by a couple of really skilled people into a committee-driven thing. And we had people joining the team solely to do media. Like we got kids on the team that want to do the video, they want to do all that stuff. Robot is not something that interests them. The writing, the filming, the photography, they're there to do that.
Yeah.
And we've made the video and the media part of the whole team. Everyone's involved, everyone knows what's going on. It's something they all take pride in. It's not something that happens off into a room on the side.
Yeah. Which was something we really struggled with it being the 1-2 person team. A lot of the team didn't care about it. Until we started to get them more. Yeah, they liked the end product. They didn't care about the fact that, hey, media needs you to do something for a while and it's going to take you away from the robot. Once we started getting the whole team more involved, we had a lot more people willing to say, yep, I'm free. Go film me.
All right, we'll change tack a little bit again. We've got a question from someone in the chat on a FTC team doing a lot of outreach work and finding it difficult to manage. Do you have any recommendations for managing projects to make sure that it's done efficiently?
So, scheduling, number one, right up here. We basically, at the start of each season, particularly for like our teaching program, is we'll put out a thing and we say, you tell us when you're free and we will tell you when you're doing stuff. So that means we have enough students on each day and also the students don't feel like too overloaded. The other thing is like looking at like, I was going to say something and
Looking at an advance? Do you remember what it was?
No.
Do you want me
So
to?
we have a mentor who manages overall scheduling, and from that mentor comes this is on, who's in, and we keep track of when people sign up to join the team. We have the option of you can pay a team levy, or you can volunteer and then do FRC for free. So we're an independent team, so we've got to fund ourselves. So something like 99% of kids that have ever come through our team ever have been or they have parents that have chosen the child labor option instead of paying money, even those that could afford it.
Yeah. So you were going to say something about getting new programs in.
Oh yeah, for new programs, we always prioritize our old programs and looking at said new programs where like we take it to like our mentors will sit there and have a look at sort of if it aligns with our team's goals, and then it goes through to the EC if the mentors have said that it aligns with our team goals and all of that sort of stuff, and the EC, which is our student leaders, will sit down and go, yeah, that's something that we could do, blah 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 blah, and then it gets sent to the team as a, you're doing this, who can help.
We will double check that we actually do have enough students to actually run a thing before we say yes. There has been multiple times where we say, this has been a great, fantastic thing. Who's in? One student. And we're like, oh, never mind. Can't do that one. Yeah.
Saying no also is something you're allowed to do.
Yes.
We've had several times we've been asked to do things that we just can't do. We just don't have the manpower. And there are also some things that matter. Like I mentioned the Viking Festival. That is something that there's actually there's more interest in going to that than car spaces. So that gets a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
We go down there and we do spike robots. They build them into Viking longboats and do line following. So the Chamber of Commerce down there pays us to run classes, and then the kids get to go play in the festival for a bit. So we'll often get like 20 people and we can only take 12 or something like that, or worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it helps, but like from my little experience with FTC teams and my FTC team's outreach, we do I guess a little bit on the such of that. Basically the way we sort of handle it as a team ourselves is we like divide and conquer our students if we need to. So we'll set like 4 students to work on one outreach thing and another 2 to work on the other. And when we get to like days that if we have to like do 2 outreach events, or we accidentally signed up for 2 on the same day and didn't realize they were the same day, we just built a robot and sent it to one of the outreach events and then send the other one to another outreach event, which is very hard. I handle a lot of the outreach for my FTC team. It's not great. It's a lot of emails.
Yep.
None of them know what I do.
Yep.
Speaking of FTC, I have a question that is not for Project Bucephalus, but is in fact for the Fluffy Terminators of my own, which is, do you think that storytelling has a place in FTC judging?
It's a great question, Mel. I think it does. I think it's definitely helpful. My FTC team itself has not incorporated it as much in our like presentation as such, but definitely when like the judges come around to the pits and when we're doing questions, I definitely try to incorporate stories. So when like it's like yes, the answer is yes, but I guess in a very different way to the way it's involved in FRC, because it's not as much, the documentation you're submitting is not just about how you're impacting your community. It's about your robot and then also how you're doing stuff for your community. So when judges ask us why we do what we do, I will talk about my story and how I've come to FTC. And some of our team members will also do the same thing. And we'll talk about like some of the things we've heard from students, like just the overjoyment we see from kids who come and like look at this beautiful little robot that they can actually like grasp with their hands, because you can't do that with an FRC bot. They're a bit bigger. And so they definitely have a place, but not so much in your portfolio, I'd say, just because it's harder to get in there. But don't take my word for it, because we're not the best team in Australia.
But you are the FTC student in the room with us.
I am the FTC student in the room with you.
Yeah. I will say, if you want to summarize that, you need someone in charge of scheduling. You need the willpower and the motivation behind it.
You missed.
He's going back to the question.
You missed. Mel asked a different question.
I'm sorry then. Forget
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because I brought FTC because they're
Yeah.
talking about the 3MB outreach. I really need to know what that 3MB stands for if it's not melted bots.
I think it's 3 manly bampers.
Really?
But that could be a back acronym, one that's done after the fact.
It stands for nothing.
It might stand for nothing. I think it did stand for something, but the people who named it have left a long time ago, so we'd have to chase one of them down and try and find out. A backronym, yes, it might be a backronym.
I have That's a great name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple more questions of my own, which is, would you have any recommendations or suggestions for teams that have like a low amount of existing knowledge in video development? And then I know you said you only had 2 Canon cameras, but that's like a lot more than what some teams would even have. So if you have a really low production budget, lack of experience, how do you start an impact video?
Smartphone?
Yeah, smartphone. Phone cameras are pretty good quality at the moment. Now we say we have 2 Canon cameras, but we only really use one of them because one of them's really old and has not fantastic video quality. But start taking footage on your smartphone. That is a great way to start getting footage of events, and it's good for not just the video, but for documenting stuff.
And a lot of teams, you'll see beginner videos don't actually have a lot of video. They're still photos with a voiceover.
Mm.
And that's perfectly acceptable.
Now,
What you want to avoid is here's a picture of a field and somebody saying, "Oh, we had 45 students doing this." Having a picture taken of kids cheering at a table and talking about the impact, that's fine. You don't need video.
Now, if there is one fantastic example of a powerful video that uses a lot of still shots and a lot of photography, I'm going to see if I can find it, and if we can find it, get Andrew to post it in the chat. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are nearly at the end of our time, so I might just ask one last question to wrap up, which is for all of you, what has the Hall of Fame induction meant to your team, and what is the next big dream?
You go first.
Well, Mel, thank you so much for asking that question. So, the biggest thing that Hall of Fame means for like collectively our team is it's a big thing with representation. So, with what used to be over 50% female membership, and 80% with diagnosed disabilities, it is all about like showing maybe the people that didn't think they could do it, that here are people doing it and here are people that are doing it well. So come along and, do it. But the second part of that question, the next big thing is, so our lovely, amazing quiet rooms in Australia are not everywhere. And it's really sad and unfortunate. So we are working to fix that. That's our biggest thing with our hidden disability lanyards and the official judge training with all of that. We are trying to get that everywhere.
Speaking from this end, a lot of the attention we've been getting has been based on what Zanita was saying, the representation of people that normally miss out, the dismissed, I think is the word they use a lot. These are kids that I've been in teacher meetings with some of these kids as a support with their parents, being told that, oh, these kids have hit the maximum potential of what they can do at school. I do not always respond well when that is brought up. And then these kids are coming here and they are doing things that nobody would ever expect them to be able to do. And that's something that gets to me in a big way. The quote Zanita used, if this school is going to get a STEM grant, it won't go to these kids. So that's the type of thing that has been getting the attention, because these are the kids that normally miss out, and these are the kids that have just done something this epic. That and the fact that it's like the third team from Australia to do it. And I think if you go by state, New South Wales is very close to leading the world in number of Hall of Fame members at this point. So 31, 32, Barker and us. So in terms of big project, the thing we want the most is the Unstoppable program to be expanded. We have proven that the youth reoffending rate in Australia, if you are an under 18 and you are charged with a crime, it's like an 81% chance you will reoffend.
Yeah, 81.
81. No, it's 80.
Yeah, whatever.
81's written on the whiteboard.
80 plus.
Is the
of the kids that worked with us. Right, we had kids that were in and out of juvenile detention way before we got there. Not one of those reoffended, and most of them have gone on back into TAFE or to mainstream schooling. It's had an impact, and it's something that we want to put out there as a template, as a tool, show that FIRST isn't just for the kids that are the gifted and talented and the exceeding and the expansion. It is also the saving lives aspect. You got something you want to add to that, Faith?
Well, I'll let Zanita go.
Well, no, I was just going to say there's a few 4788 people, and we'd love to help you because Western Australia has the highest youth crime rate in Australia. So we'd love to help you get that program started over there if we can. if you want.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just given you a platform to say all the things you were saving up to the end.
Yeah. Again, I think biggest thing for us is, again, yes, the representation, but also the fact that people are now listening to our very unique perspective of this is what people can do. This is what they can do despite limitations, right? There's not a certain way to succeed. There's not a certain way to do things. And I think something that Unified Robotics, which is another program that we want to try and get everywhere because it's super easy and it's very low cost and you can do it in 6 weeks. Is redefining success. And I think we're able to do that now. We're able to help redefine success and redefine what people can do, which has been a long time coming. Something we've been working on for
10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Well, whatever your next big project is, can I just put a request in that please do not name it something starting with the letter U?
I agree.
No, I have the next project lined up already, Mel. We're going to call it Unhinged.
No,
Because that's what Zanita's going to be if she has to talk about it.
I'll
won't
join
be
you in that.
unhinged, I'll be murderous.
All right, folks, I think we might wrap it up here since we are well, I haven't made dinner yet, so that's next on the agenda. Thank you so much for presenting tonight. It's been really great to hear sort of the backstory. I mean, particularly to hear the backstory to the video, because I think that's really of interest to a lot of people who saw that, particularly from 3132 and also Curtin on the big screen at Champs. So that's been a really interesting insight and some good advice to all of us in approaching the impact submissions to come. Thank you very much.
I will say, Mel, just one last thing. I was down on the field when our guys got called up for finalists this year, and there was more squealing and cheering when 4788 got called up after us than for ourselves.
If you didn't already know, just for your lovely information, I screamed "shut up" when they said from Archimedes at our team because they were like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "Shut up, Curtin's there." They weren't happy with that, and the volunteers thought we were crazy.
She screamed directly into my ear. So you have your own personal cheer squad here, Curtin.
We had the first time ever we've had two Aussie teams up for contention. We got to keep that record.
We've now set the 4-year pattern. So
Yes,
2029, that's the
2029 with a handshake, smashing something, and citrus.
Yep. That's the keys to success. All right, folks, I'll end the recording here.
Okay.